Baha'ism religion. Let's talk about the Baha'i faith. The Baha'i faith is the youngest religion. It traces its origins to Persia or Iran today, in the mid-1800s. The story of the Baha'i begins with the founder Baha'u'llah. He was born in 1817 in Tehran's current Iranian capital. His father's name was Mirza Hussein Ali Nouri. He was a nobleman at Noor in 1848 in the Conference of Badshah. When Baha'u'llah was a teenager, there was a man by the name of Bab, who declared himself a Mehdi. Who is Mehdi? Muhammad, peace be upon him, did a prophecy 1,400 years ago, and said, "The Mehdi will be of my descendant, and will have a broad forehead, and a bold nose. He will fill the earth with equity and justice, as it was filled with suppression and reign of terror. And he will rule for 7 years. His mother name will be Amna, and his father name will be Abdullah, when he performs Umrah at Mecca. People will find out that he is the Mehdi, and he will decline that I am not Mehdi, but in the end he will accept that and say yes. He will be born near the time of Dajjal. If you and I study this prophecy, we will know that Bab has nothing in common with Mehdi. He was paid from the enemy of Islam to mislead Muslims, but they did not succeed. And now times prove that Bab was not Mehdi, he was just a liar. Bab convinced Baha'u'llah to spread the movement around his province. His status got him audiences, and he became one of the most successful proselytizers. He advocated even more radical changes, proposing to flip the entire Islamic legal system, and start from scratch. In 1848, the Babi movement began getting into violent clashes with the Persian government. When later Bab declared himself a god on earth, the Persians execute Bab followers. 2 years pass by in violence, and finally, they execute Bab by firing squad. After Bab's execution, his followers returned the violence. The Persians imprisoned Baha'u'llah. They locked him away in Tehran prison. How the Baha'ism starts. When Baha'u'llah was in the prison, the Russian spies, and some others enemies of Islam saw that he is a famous proselytizer, and people follow him, why not use him? So they visited him in prison, and paid him to deceive Muslims in different ways. As you can see, he was an easy sellout. First Bab paid him to advocate for him. And now they make him accessible. And give him some money, and leave him to mislead people. Then, Baha'u'llah claims he had a visit from the angel of God, and declare himself a messenger of God. Baha'u'llah leave the Persian Empire forever, and go to Iran. At this time, Iraq was an Ottoman province. In April 1853, Baha'u'llah and his family moved to Baghdad. His new city attracted the Babists. They escaped from Persia, and flooded into Baghdad. The movement liked him, and he became a prominent leader, rather than a proselytizer. In Iran there was a man named Mirza Yahya. He indicated against Baha'u'llah, attempting to disgrace him. His attacks on Baha'u'llah drove away new converts, and in 1854, he had enough. He chose exile again. Baha'u'llah made sure his family was taken care of, and without telling anyone where he was going, or what he intended. He left Baghdad. He went into a mountainous region in Kurdistan. Baha'u'llah lived there alone for 2 years. Back in Baghdad, the Babi community was falling apart. And Mirza Yahya's lapse of leadership created despair. Some Babish looking for leadership searched for Baha'u'llah. They heard of a mystic who lived in the mountains, who was rumored to be their lost leader. Baha'u'llah's family found and begged him to come back. They said they needed him to lead the Babists, and in the year 1856, he returned to Baghdad. He developed a new understanding of the Babi religion, and was soon recognized as the Babist movement's leader once again. He became a prominent Baghdad figure, especially amongst the Babi community. In August of 1863, Baha'u'llah moved from Baghdad to Constantinople, with his family and followers. This honeymoon period wouldn't last long. Within 3 months he kicked out of Constantinople, and moved to Adrianople. This Adrianople trip wasn't as glamorous. It seems. In 1868, the Ottoman Empire exiled Baha'u'llah and his followers to Acre, a Palestinian city. The government told the Acre citizens the Baha'i were enemies of the state and God. They ordered the citizens to avoid talking to them. Conditions were rough, and some followers died, including one of Baha'u'llah's sons, who was at the age of 22. In 1879, Baha'u'llah retired and left organizational tasks to his son, Abdul Baha. In May of 1882, Baha'u'llah contracted a fever. Over several days, it got worse, and on the 29th of May, he died. The Baha'i faith has grown quite a lot since Baha'u'llah's death. Every April 21st, the council sends a message to Baha'is called Eid the Rizwan message. It's full of advice for the upcoming year, and is sent to between 5 and 7 million followers around the globe. Baha'is today live in Islamic countries, where most leaders consider it an error, especially in Iran, which executed more than 200 Baha'is. Between 1978 and 1998, the Baha'is often have their rights restricted. For example, any Baha'i activities are illegal in Egypt, and the government has seized many cemeteries and libraries. The Baha'is They believe that heaven and hell are not real, it's metaphoric. They believe in reincarnation. They believe that God can come in the human avatar. They believe that Jesus was crucified, and there is no second coming. They pray prayers 3 times, instead 5 times a day. They don't face Qibla Mecca, they face Akka, in Palestine, Israel. They are not related to Islam. It was originated from a Shia Sufi group that came with the support of spies from Russia and elsewhere to make this cult and divide the Muslims, and it's based on Cooper. First Bob came with this idea that he is the gate to Allah, then he claims that he is like Musa and Jesus, may Allah be pleased with them, then he claims that he is a god, then everyone around him said, this is enough, and execute him. It's total fabricated religion, it's not related to any Abrahamic religions. I hope this video finds you a bit light in the dark. If you have any questions, please let me know, I would be happy to answer. Thank you.